I got to ask you this because I've had Pat Harris on the show. I've had David Hildebrand on the show. And, I've asked them this question, so I got to ask it to you as well, just because for consistency's sake. Right now in the California Senate race, as you are aware, there's 3 progressives running in the race. You, Pat.
What? What? There are?
You, Pat, and David.
Yeah.
And I'll be totally honest. I think all 3 of you are wonderful. I'd be happy to vote for any one of you. I'd love to see all 3 of you in office in some capacity. However, all 3 of you cannot be in the Senate. It's only going to be one. So how do we avoid potentially splitting the progressive vote and, having the runoff be De Leon and Feinstein, which I don't think anybody wants to see. I really don't want to see that. And also, and again, I've asked them this, so I got to ask you too. If one of the 3 of you were to pull ahead, if it wasn't you, would you then drop out and support whoever it was, whether it was Pat or David?
Yeah. So, I have to say, first of all, as far as not splitting the vote and all of that, I get it. And that is an important question for us to be asking and for us to talk about. I do think it's still too early to make that decision. We're in March, right? And, believe it or not, all of us here, everybody watching, we're very inside. Like, we're very, very politically active and aware of what's been going on. We've been watching this race and others for months. The vast majority of people still aren't in California. And so it really is still very early. So to your next question of if one of them were to pull ahead enough that it was clear that I was no longer a viable option.
And again, totally a hypothetical. I know, absolutely a hypothetical. I'm just saying if that were to happen.
And so I think the question is really like, which of us, since we are so close on the issues, since we are progressive, since we don't take corporate money, which of us has the most viable campaign? And which of us really has a shot at being able to beat Dianne Feinstein in November? And right now it's about that viable campaign. And so I think it's too early to say. I definitely know that I have certainly proven that I have a viable campaign right now. And I'm just speaking about my own campaign. And so I'm still moving forward as a result. But yeah, it's still very early. And I also want to say that I think it is great that we have several progressive options. I mean, isn't that the future we're fighting for? Isn't that what we want to see? You know?
Absolutely.
So to be able to, I think it's a positive thing. And I really wish that we could start talking about how this is what we want the world to look like, everybody. Now, I know what we really want and need is a better voting structure so that it doesn't split the vote so much. And it can really reflect what the population or the populace wants, the electorate, right? So we do that by abolishing the Electoral College, and we do it by instituting ranked choice voting or approval voting. My favorite is approval voting. But that's what we really need to be fighting for so that we can, in fact, have a viable 3+ party options. Because I mean, we have more than 3 parties in this country.
Oh, absolutely.
So we need 3+. That's why I tend to throw that plus in there. But as of right now, I get the hesitation or the concern about splitting the vote. And so let's be aware of that. Let's all be conscious of that. But let's also not forget that there are millions and millions and millions of people in this state who still don't even know about this race or any of us. And so we still have a lot of work to do.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. And yeah, I mean, that's a good way to look at it, where it's like, yeah, this is something we need to be aware of. This is something we need to, keep in mind. But the other side of it is, hey, there's 3 great progressives. No matter what happens, all 3 of them are going to have a future in politics. At least I think so, should you all choose to. And those are 3 great progressives in California for the future in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
So let me ask you that. I mean, and again, just total hypothetical, but it's like, this is something that we've just had to unpack. Could you bring yourself, worst case scenario, it's De Leon and Feinstein. Could you bring yourself to vote for De Leon?
Yes, I think I could bring myself to vote for De Leon. And the reason why is because I think that Dianne Feinstein is running again so that when she steps down in the middle of her 6 years, the next person in their circle, this revolving door they have there in DC and in the state in some cases too, it will be appointed. It's not a special election. They're appointed by the governor. And that really concerns me. So I would rather elect Kevin De Leon, who is definitely moving a little bit more left because of our pressure on him. And I think can continue to, although I'm not happy about it. I will have to plug my nose and make that vote because we shouldn't have to beg our legislators to do the right thing. We need people in office who are already there, people who are already going to do the right thing. So that is obviously a great concern for me. We would have to put a lot of pressure on him to reject his corporate donors and give the money back. I don't see that happening. So there's a number of things we could do to strategize together moving forward if we are in that unfortunate situation. But if I have to answer that hypothetical question, there you go.
Fair enough. No, and I get it. All right. So next hypothetical: if you were being held underwater and your arm was no, I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love hypotheticals. Go.
It's just something like, it pertains to the race. You are a candidate. So, it's something that I've unpacked. And we actually have invited De Leon onto this show. He has not accepted because I don't know if he's seen any of the videos, but certain candidates have not had the most positive experience on this show. So others have had great experiences. I just ask the questions and respond accordingly. But
are
what
you ripping? Are you like ripping out throats and taking names later or what?
I think I'm very fair. One of our prereqs is like, hey, tell the truth, and most people had an easy time following that. Some not as much. Also, we also were kind of like, if you're going to endorse somebody, be able to explain it. And again, some people, that was no problem for them following. You didn't have a problem with it. But other people, that was a little hard. So, what are you going to do? Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.